Good morning, everybody. Thanks for watching the Today in AZ After Show. You're staring at a preview of Camera 5 inside the control room of Studio 12A. That's where director Craig lives, I think. I think he just curls up underneath the switcher there with a blanket and a pillow. Producer Jeff goes home. He's got a wife and family.
So Bono's not there?
No, he's there. He's hanging out in the back. It's just dark in there. We don't allow lights in the control room. Hideous creatures lurking.
Kind of creepy in there.
I'm just kidding, guys. Hey, thanks for stopping by and starting your morning with us. Shout out to my grandma. She's in the thread already.
Oh,
she gets there on time.
Wow.
Grandma's timely.
Grandma, you should be so proud of Paul. He's doing good.
I don't know about that, but thank you nonetheless.
Oh.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about today. We'll get right to it. We brought you this story earlier on Today in AZ. Did you hear about MySpace deleting all of its content from like 2003 to 2015? Apparently any song, any music, any video, any picture that was posted to the website in that span is just gone, lost to the sands of time. They said it was a server issue, apparently.
That makes me sad.
It makes me happy. We want to know what you think about it, though, because I think that the internet is generally forever. And when you come across an instance in which that's not the case, that's a good thing. We've all got stuff that would be embarrassing if it was rediscovered.
Well, it would be embarrassing, but for my part, like I want to go back to my memories. There's things that I forgot that I've done or pictures that we had.
You were saying that.
Yeah, and so you're gonna go back to MySpace, right, and find these pictures or bring up these memories again, and I'm like, oh, cool, but now I can't.
But I gotta ask you, have you done that? Have you really gone and dug through your old MySpace?
2 years ago, I did. I pulled it up, and I did pull some pictures, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I forgot about this, and this is cool, you know? But I haven't been on recently, obviously, and I guess I can't anymore go find those items. But, yeah, so I did do it. And even when you're on Facebook, you know, it brings up your memories from 6 years ago. You're like, oh, cool. Remember that moment?
I want Jimmy's opinion before I sound off on this again. Because did you have a MySpace?
I did not. I was at that weird peak where it was the really, really young kids that were doing it. But honestly, I always like to joke that I still have an active MySpace. You can find me on that. That's my big joke. But no, I never did. But it does frighten me because, you know, I need to transfer some pictures. I have a bunch in an old iPhone right now. And I'm like, well, where do I send it? You know, because I remember I sent one to Kodak. I used to have a little account when you could keep like up to 36 pictures.
Yeah, right.
But it was like my 40th birthday party, which was great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I went back to Kodak and it's gone. It's all gone. So can we trust any of these sites? Where do we keep stuff? And then keep it in your computer. It gets old. I'm
you
worried.
Replace your computer, it's gone.
On that aspect. And you were just talking about this the other day because I was saying, hey, we got to be careful what we say here. You said if you in any of your right mind think in 50 years any of this conversation is going to be around, it's going to be wiped. It's going to be gone. What you said just came to fruition.
Well, and I hope that I'm right about that because we all say the internet's forever, right? How many times have you seen celebrities skewered by some old post that they made in 2002 that had like some racist or sexist language?
Even a like.
Yeah, and a lot of times those are presented to us without context too. You know, a lot of comedians have gotten in trouble for making what were acceptable jokes at the time, but in 2019 you look at it in a different light and you say, well, this guy's a racist. And you're ruining someone's career when maybe at the time, you know, it's just...
You're right.
When you don't have the lens of the era that it was posted in and a frame of reference in context to other posts or conversations or dialogues or stand-up routines at the time, it's tough to make big sweeping judgments about people based on that. So I think it's a very healthy thing if the internet is, let's say, purged every now and again. And if there's something that you want to save, you could save it. There are ways to save that stuff. Your old MySpace pictures, you could save those onto like a flash drive or onto a computer.
But sometimes who has time to go do that?
Right,
I don't have time to go back and save all
But this is your lesson, though. This is your shot across the bow. This is the warning that says if you have something on social media that you think you should save, go get it. Go get it and make sure it's safe somewhere because there's no promise that it's going to be there forever. Just like Kodak, Verizon used to have its own picture hosting service. It was called PixPlace. And you could send your stuff to the PixPlace where you could access it on a desktop or on another device or whatever. That's all gone now. It's all gone. Everything you ever uploaded does not exist. They got rid of it. And a lot of it is servers, storage, whatever. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yes,
Story
please.
time?
Yeah.
You want to hit the story time button?
Let's do it.
I started my full-time on-air broadcast career in Alpena, Michigan. WBKB were the call letters. They joked it was We Barely Know Broadcasting.
Whereabouts in Michigan?
They were right. Oh, you get the... way up here.
I remember you.
US 23,
oh,
way up
by the
north.
UP.
Close.
Cold.
A fair enough drive to the Mackinac Bridge,
Nice.
yeah. We had all of the station's essential computer components in a transmitter building about an hour and a half away from the station. It was like a little shed up on a hill where you could get a good signal with the satellites and stuff. Middle of summer, in hot July, the power went out in that building. So the air conditioners that kept all those machines cool malfunctioned. Everything fried.
No!
All gone. We were off the air in black. Like when you turn on NBC, it was just black for 3 days as a result of this mishap. And that just goes to show you, like, you are even a natural disaster away from having tons of important stuff just gone. Like, think about where these servers are. What if something ever happened to one of those server buildings where all that information is being stored on a giant machine somewhere? It's gone. Like, there's no replacing it. Like, we think of the internet as this, like, thing that just exists forever.
Indestructible. It's
but it's not.
The World Wide Web.
It's just like anything else. It's like a piece of mail that you saved, and then it's gone in a house fire. You know what I mean? Like, it happens.
That is scary. You know, let's go back about 2,000 years, the Dark Ages, when Rome fell. We had all this knowledge.
Yes!
They knew how to make concrete. They knew how to do arches. All this, and when the Rome fell, it all fell. We lost all this information. We went into the Dark Ages. The same thing could happen. Because I don't know how to build a computer.
Sure.
If all of a sudden everything were to die, the computers were to go, our water system, everything that's based on it, I couldn't, we'd possibly potentially go back into that history could repeat itself.
That's one of those things that makes me think that like books and like hard copy things that contain human knowledge are still so important.
Right there
because
with
all
you.
the digital stuff in the world, I mean, the world's at the tip of my fingers right now, but that's you knock down a satellite, it's gone. You know what I mean?
Maybe this message, it's a message from this MySpace mishap is a message to all of us. Just a little flutter of, hey, heads up, maybe go back to books or something written. We also, meteorologically speaking or astronomically speaking, they're saying a huge solar flare. We're due for a big one. That could knock everything out. And the last time that happened was in the 1840s. It hit, it knocked off all the telegraphs, everything. If that were to do it today, all the computers, everything would be fried.
Think about losing every cell phone tower, or even a few of them, and think about how that would impact what we rely on a day-to-day basis. Remember last week when Facebook and Instagram were down for like a few
Everybody
hours?
was going crazy.
The world freaked out. Imagine this being nothing more than a brick, and you can't make calls or texts or access any of that stuff. That's a very real possibility. Like, we just take it for granted, I feel like.
And why can't this happen to Facebook? It can.
Yeah.
It can. So, I don't know. Maybe there is something to having printing some of these pictures out that you want.
Yes. So I'm Googling this real quick, JQ, because you reminded me of the Library of Alexandria that fell, and we lost a huge amount of like human knowledge. I thought I had read somewhere that it was like 80% of human knowledge to that point was contained in the Library of Alexandria that was burned and lost. I'm trying to find the exact number of how much was lost.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, this is just wild. While I dig through this, let's do the ICYMI real quick, in case you missed it from Today in AZ. This is one of my favorite moments from earlier in the show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do.
This is something you just can't make up. Just hours before going on air for the women's tournament selection show, ESPNU accidentally shared the entire bracket.
Can you imagine if this happened for the men's tournament? It would be our top story this week.
Really?
The image of this bracket quickly made the rounds on social media. ESPN just decided to air the bracket 2 hours early. That caused some teams to cancel their planned selection show parties. There's no such thing as a party when you're not going to be in the tournament, right? ESPN did offer an apology. They say they're investigating as to what happened to make sure this doesn't happen again. Some of the college coaches, though, said that they felt it was like a stress release for them because they get all worked up about it. Now it's like, oh, well, just hand me the piece of paper. Are we there? We are. Okay, great. If not, move on, you know?
Working in TV, though, you just want to be at that after-show meeting when everyone flips out for the person who accidentally pressed that button.
Producer Jeff was joking there might be a graphics job available at ESPN sometime soon, so get your CVV and resumes ready.
When they say might, it's,
Can't believe that they leaked the women's bracket. If that had happened for the men's tournament, it would have been chaos. It would have led the show this morning. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for the ladies because they deserve just as much attention as the men do. They're working just as hard, and to have their stuff leaked, like, that's a total bummer. The only reason it's not bigger news is because it was the women's bracket, not the men's. But that, I mean, like, that just shows, like, how that stuff happens. Like, how often do you see something leaked accidentally, you know? Like, we do get press releases that say hold until such and such a time and date. They sent the stuff to ESPN so they can get their graphics made. Some low-level individual sees it, and it's like, oh, we're good to post this, right? And then all of a sudden, that's as easy as it is, you know? Like, I think people think of these news organizations as, like, these big, sweeping, like, giant companies with like important figureheads making all, excuse me, I'm spitting on you, all the tough decisions. But a lot of times it's just like interns or like low-level employees that could very easily flip a switch and do all sorts of damage.
We've had a lot of projects we've worked on here at 12 News in recent history, and there are memos that come out, secret shootings, auditions, and they are told, we're instructed, you do not post this, you do not take pictures. I mean, they tell us that because that stuff can happen. So, oh, check this out and put it on, you know, our boss said to start tweeting. Well, guess what? You just tweeted something big out.
So I did a little research while we were watching that ICYMI about the Library of Alexandria burning. Apparently, it did not necessarily set our human knowledge back as much as originally thought. It's largely thought that it's mostly a myth that we lost a huge percentage of our total knowledge because in reality, apparently that library had begun to decline and a bunch of copies of similar works had been made, but some artists and some authors lost almost all of their known works. For example, there were 123 different plays by Sophocles, a playwright you may remember from your time in English Lit in high school. Only 7 survived to this day.
Wow.
Most of them were lost in the fire of Alexandria. So some great works were definitely lost. And you think about that, like, think about some of the great pieces of art, whether it's music or TV or movies or whatever that survive today, and think about losing a huge percentage of them. Think about losing all but 7 Matt Damon movies. You know what I mean? Like
everybody on Netflix.
Blow your mind.
You know, and it's even funny for Facebook too. When you know how you have to start when we started working here, they make you create like a work page, fan page, or whatever you want to call it. So my original Facebook, I was trying to combine them two, right? Because you have to sign up with your original account. So I did, and it's like, okay, do you want us to delete this account? Because we can't merge your pictures over.
Right.
I'm like, no. I'm like, I want to keep the pictures, but I couldn't move them to the new Facebook. So now I have 2 of them because I didn't want to get rid of the old pictures. You know what I mean? It's just like something that you got to hold on to, then you don't want to lose.
But it's a nostalgia thing, too. Yeah. Like, at some point, I think a good spring cleaning is probably healthy, you know?
Do it.
Like, I would kind of like to delete and start over. You know, like, I wonder if Facebook, you know, with all the privacy violations they've had and the stolen data and misused information, if Mark Zuckerberg just came out tomorrow and said, listen, when I started this in my dorm, I didn't think it would ever get to 2 billion users or whatever. I'll admit.
It's just about rating women.
Right. It started out as a hot or not clone. I mean, if you saw the social network, you know how Facebook got its origin. But if he just came out and said, I didn't ever anticipate it getting to this size, and to be honest, we bungled this. How would you like to start over? What if we said, we're going to wipe it all clean, just scrub every bit of information you've ever given us, and we're going to relaunch Facebook as a more secure platform? Would you say, all right, I'm in, and agree to have all that old stuff taken out? I would. I would say go ahead and kill it. Let it go.
Well, Tara said here, I feel that sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. are modern-day journals for our loved ones to see when we are gone.
You know, that's a good point, too, because they do keep a lot of Facebook pages up for those who have passed on as little memorial walls for people to go and remember the good times. You go back and look at your pictures with the friends and family you've lost. You leave a little message and hope that maybe somehow, somewhere, it's getting to them, you know? I see the sentimental value for that, but I think that could be maybe another form of social media. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a new social media that's just specifically for that purpose. And that Facebook is, you know, that's obviously not Facebook's primary modus operandi.
But
it just keeps them up.
I continue to think, if we think in our grandeur that we're so great that we've created something that will keep our pictures and our information forever and safe, we're lying to ourselves. This is all brand new. And yeah, you're right. Who's to say what's going to come down the road that's going to wipe certain things clean? Maybe some kind of a cyber terrorist will wipe Facebook clean too. You're right. This is stored someplace. It's not up there forever.
Yeah.
It's not like it's completely safe. What happens if one of these servers goes down? What if there's a war? What if there's something, you know, things are not going to be safe. You'll lose it.
I was reading an article a while back. I would have to do some digging to get the specifics, but it was about what it would take to take the internet offline globally. So you've heard the joke. Al Gore once said when he was running for president that the internet's a series of tubes. He's not all that wrong. Like, there are literally pipelines of wires that are underground and a lot of times underwater that carry the information from machine to machine that allow us to use the internet the way that we do. I think, I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me, but I think that as few as 7 of those pipelines would have to be cut to pretty much make the internet an unusable mess. So there's a real possibility of a legitimate, like, terrorist sort of attack that could completely take us off the grid, you know?
And if we ever got into an actual war with Russia or China, I've read that they have the nuclear bombs they blow up over the city, not to hurt people, but the initial blast fries the whole circuit system of a whole city. So you drop New York, Los Angeles, or Phoenix, there's radiation above us, but everything's gone. We don't even know what's going on. We can't even get on the news now because how much is reliant on us, our computers and everything.
I mean, think about a modern-day disaster movie. You know, you watch the old horror films, and you almost, through the lens of 2019, you're like, well, she should have called the police with her cell phone. Oh, well, she didn't have a cell phone because this movie was set in 1980 or whatever. It's tough to make a modern horror movie because we have access to information and communication 24/7. But if you wiped the grid out, now that's a different scenario.
Yes.
Start the disaster movie with taking out all the cell phone towers, and then you're just like you were back in, you know, the
I'm
70s.
telling you, my disaster movie's about the sun flare. We get a big solar flare. It hits everything. No more police, no more anything. The grocery stores, the water, you can't drink the water because that's all computerized. Everyone in the hospitals with all the computers and the information on the surgical rooms. It would be a disaster.
I mean, look at what happened in Puerto Rico when they had that hurricane hit that wiped out their electrical grid. I mean, most of the deaths attributed to what happened in Puerto Rico were people that either couldn't get clean water or people that were in hospitals reliant upon medication or dialysis or you name it that could no longer have that treatment because there was no power.
Yeah. And you ever spend 6 hours at work, maybe you didn't have a chance to get some food? You start getting hungry. Turn that into about 3 days of not eating. You go crazy.
So Charlotte has a question. She said, so are the old MySpace accounts just blank, or can we no longer log in at all?
Gono.
No. So
it's
supposedly
still up,
you can.
right?
Yeah, and I guess a lot of the text and posts may be accessible in one way or another, but it's anything that was uploaded to their servers. So pictures, videos, songs, MP3 files, JPEGs, all that stuff is no longer stored. So whatever the text, it may exist in some like basically unusable format, but like you could see that the page still existed, but all the content is gone.
Are your top 8 still there?
I don't know.
Conspiracy theory.
We gotta log in.
Oh, we got a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
We need a graphic for that.
Somebody.
Just Jimmy with a tinfoil hat on is the image. Write that down, producer Jeff.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
had a motive to erase that, to go into the server. Maybe there was some very, very important information that could have convicted somebody of doing a crime, and they go into the server and they destroy and wipe out everything.
I'm going with Emma's theory. She said she just thinks it's like a publicity ploy to bring people
back to MySpace. I didn't think about that, but I like that.
Yeah, so I'm going with Emma.
Peggy likes the idea that the internet's not forever. She says, I have all my pictures saved in my own files.
Yeah, John said save all your pictures on a jump drive. That's what he said, to save that problem. But then what happens if you lose those or those mess up? Those
yeah, you have to have like 5 different places, or at least two or 3 different places, you know. I'm trying to download some stuff on the internet. I don't know which website to send it to.
Yeah.
Flickr and all these other different ones.
The iCloud.
I don't know which one.
Isn't that
Nothing's
crazy?
forever,
The same
man.
thing, like we have VHS videos, right? And then like videos that you record, those home videos, and it's like now you have to transfer those to DVDs. And
you have those, right?
So I have the VHSs. We still have to watch them and transfer them. But then what happens when the DVDs aren't working anymore? Then where do you transfer them to? Like, just stuff's gonna keep getting lost.
Yeah, exactly. Format after format changes. That's
Good, healthy discussion here. Let's get to our fresh squeezed juice. Move the show along a little bit.
Woo! Okay, so this viral video takes multitasking to a whole new level. An 11-year-old London boy is turning heads on the internet with his fast-moving soccer skills. Look at him. He's not just taking a casual stroll either. The treadmill gets faster and faster, but he keeps his cool and control of the soccer ball. Look at that.
That is unreal.
That's like training. Like,
Jimmy, you watch a lot of
steroids.
football. What do you think of this kid?
That's awesome. That really is. You know, now what he can do on the pitch, I'm not sure. How fast can he do that at? Then it's hard to say. That's unbelievably high.
Do you think he'll get an early deal?
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, look at him.
I'm with you, Vanessa. I think this kid's going to have some offer from some European Tier 3 club at 12 years old that they're going to sign.
You know what it is? It's fast twitch muscles. You can do. I knew a guy that was amazing, and he made it up to a high college level, but you have to be unbelievably fast. Just like in the NFL, 4.3, 4.4 40s. That's what these guys run.
Well, that's what they're training him to do.
Yeah,
so
but
that way
you
he
cannot
makes it
train
to that
for
point.
speed. You can't. You're born with it. That's it. It's like you want to be 6'1", you're not gonna. It's not going to happen. You're already born with that. Fast twitch muscles. That's what professional athletes are.
Such a hater he is on
No,
this little
I'm a
boy.
realist. I'm a hater or am I a realist?
I will say this. I would fall doing that in about 15 seconds.
We already know that
that's
you would fall.
unbelievable.
You fell
High
on
amount
that
of
other
skill what
treadmill,
that kid's
and it
doing.
wasn't even going that fast.
You don't have that video, do you? Oh, I thought maybe they might have snuck
Let's roll
it in.
it. Come on, put it up.
No, yeah, treadmills and I don't get along too well.
You got to be careful. That's why I just walk at a high incline.
We got some big things happening tomorrow on Today in AZ, guys. I'm excited that you're here to share it with us. So you may remember last year, back when the show was called 12 Today, we had a bracket challenge in which all 4 of the main hosts on the morning show filled out a quadrant of the NCAA men's basketball tournament bracket. And then we started a pool where all of our viewers could submit their brackets and compete against us.
Right.
We're bringing it back. And we're starting it tomorrow. I'm going to create the group today, so any of you early risers want to hop on my Facebook page and be one of the first ones to join the group. That would be dope. We're also going to bring a new bracket into the mix. We're talking about a dessert bracket. The top 32 desserts, picked by yours truly, they had to be selected by somebody, arranged into 4 quadrants.
Add lemon meringue pie on there?
I'm not sure if lemon meringue made the cut. We've already got some selection committee issues. And we're going to have the people decide the best dessert.
Dessert, not pie, just anything.
Oh, there's a pies and cakes quadrant. Pies and cakes have been confined into one quadrant. Frozen desserts have been confined into another.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's going to have a representative from each. One of them is like a homemade, like a do-it-yourself, like chocolate chip cookies, cupcakes, brownies, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then there's the frozen section, which is your ice creams and your ice cream sandwiches.
Are we filling that out today?
Froyo.
Mañana, he said tomorrow.
We're going to let the viewers fill that one out.
Okay, the viewers
we're
get that one.
We're going to put a matchup up, and we're going to let them pick it.
Are we doing teams still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get you your info today.
Please
I'll
do.
let you know which quadrant you got stuck with. I think I gave you the Duke one. I think I gave you the easiest quadrant.
I always lose on those, though, because I always pick the top seeds, and they all fall. All it takes is a couple seeds to fall, and you're done.
I hope that you pick a chaotic bracket instead.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are interested in joining us. We got to get going. We got a Today Show cutting coming up here in just a minute. We'll be back on this couch at 7:30 tomorrow, though. We'll probably bring the bracket over then. Hopefully it gets printed in time.
You need to add that lemon meringue pie on there.
I'll sneak it in. We'll make a last-minute decision. We are the selection committee, after all. Be good, people.